Hello. So in today's video, I take down these two nano tanks, the Waterbox Peninsula Mini and the Fluval Evo 13.5 that I set up in previous videos. And this is because my wife and I have just decided to make a move, and we've uprooted our family a bit, so these tanks have got to go. It is never fun to move tanks or just move in general, and it is especially challenging when you also have a newborn. Now, this was a ton of work, and I'm actually just glad that I only had two small nano tanks set up, because this would have been 10 times more challenging with some like 100-gallon, reef tank packed to the brim. So watch this video to see the move and find out how everything turns out. And I will be back to making stuff soon once I get everything set back up. So thank you for watching. Welcome back to IC Live. My name's Mark. So my family and I recently moved out of this house. Actually, that was yesterday. Most everything is gone. There's still a little bit left, but one of the last things that was left was the fish tanks. So today I have to take out two tanks. One of them is the Waterbox Peninsula Mini, seen here, with the light going crazy. I don't know why it happens on this light, but not the other light. Maybe I can control it. I have powers. And the second tank is the Fluval Evo 13.5. This was in the playroom. I've also got all the reptiles as well. So this is going to be an interesting day. Luckily, these tanks are relatively new, and I have very little livestock, so it should be pretty easy. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to do an update, but the tanks are doing great. Let's just hope that this move goes well. Now, before I get started, I've got to get everything set up. So that means some blankets to make sure I don't break any glass. I've got a few bins, including this cooler. This is going to house the rocks, basically the aquascapes, along with some of the water. And I also have this awesome utility rolling cart. I highly suggest this for anybody that does not have one. And I will make a video in the future on how I set this thing up, because it makes water changes super easy. Last, I got a few water-safe containers to put some of the fish and coral in to make sure that they are safe. With everything ready, I can get started. So the plan is to take out as much good water as possible to start before I remove any livestock. Once I have the cooler filled up with good water, I'm then going to take out the rock work. It has some corals on it, but it should be just fine in the cooler. And that will then make it super easy for me to catch the clownfish. With the clownfish removed, then all that's left is a little bit of water and some dirty sand, so I can clean that sand and discard the rest of that water, and this tank will be ready to move. Now that you know what's happening, let's kick this into hyperdrive. With everything broken down, now it's time to load it up. And here I'm extra careful to make sure that the glass is protected, so that's why I got these moving sheets. With the Fluval all loaded up, it's time to move on to the Waterbox Peninsula Mini. So here is the tank. It looks great. It's been cycling for quite a while. It's got a little bit of cyanobacteria in the bottom, but nothing that is really going to harm it. I was really waiting to get more livestock and fish in it, but I have not done that yet. I have the exact same plan as the Fluval Evo 13.5, and it's time to go ahead and get started. Everything is loaded up. We've got the 2 tanks. I've obviously got the cooler full of rock and coral. I've also got the reptiles, so packed back in here. That's the leopard gecko tank. Down on the bottom there's a king snake and also a rosy boa. And now it's time to close things up and hit the road.
3 hours later.
We've been driving for about 3 hours now. Don't you think we ought to head back soon?
5 points off for complaining.
All right, made it back to the new place, and it seems like everything made it intact. I didn't hear any glass cracking during the ride, which is always a bad sign. So now I got to go ahead and reverse everything I just did, set these tanks back up, and I think I got some spots in mind, so hopefully I can get this done in the next few hours. I'm running out of light, so I got to work fast. With just a few more pieces to connect, I turn the light on, I get the fish set up, and it is time to move on to the next tank. Here is the Hydra anemone guard I made a few episodes back, and this is going in the tank. At this moment, I realize I don't have enough water to get this tank running, and I got to get to the fish store before it closes. As I'm out filling water jugs, I had no idea that at this time my camera got hijacked.
Glenn Stacy. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thanks. 1, 2, 3, go.
So I was dying when I saw this because it was just so funny. It went on for about 30 minutes, and obviously I'm not going to show any more here, but it was just so hilarious. I finally got home and had a chance to complete the tank and get it fully set up and running right before bedtime. This was the only video that I managed to take that night before it was time to go ahead and call it a day.
What's he doing? I don't know. Is he going to eat those crabs?
I don't think so.
But why?
I think he's just wiggling around the tank.
No, he's going to eat them.
What's he gonna eat? Oh, the crabs?
Yeah, but what?
Oh, I don't think he's gonna eat the crabs.
What should we name this snail?
I don't know. What'd you name him?
Oh, Miss Dad. I just named it.
We went to bed that night and everything survived and it did great. It took a few days to get the house in order, so I didn't have time to film the tanks the next day, but about 3 or 4 days later, here's how the tanks looked.
I'm Batman-ing.
I'm Batman. I'm awesome.
Everything turned out great. This is the Fluval Evo 13.5. If you can see, it's got some pretty large mushrooms in it. It's also got the frog spawn along with some candy cane and some other random mushrooms. I have the 2 midnight clowns that I've had for quite a long time, and they are doing great. And there's also a serpent starfish in here, hidden in the back somewhere, and then just a bunch of random hermit crabs. This was the tank that I initially did the light shade on for the AI Prime. I also did a few upgrades in the back, like I made a filter media box, which I'm actually going to make a video eventually on that, but I'm going to make that available soon as well. And I got a few upgrades coming, but let's check out the next tank. Here is the Waterbox Peninsula Mini, all set back up and looking great. Once again, everything survived. Tank looks really good. Now, a few things to note here. This was the bookshelf stand. I don't know if I ever showed a picture of the bookshelf, but this is by far the most functional stand I've made. It works great. I also made one of the light shades for the AI Prime for this one as well, and this one is in white. Now, I can't get the shutter right on this camera. I don't know if it's because it's an old AI Prime, but for some reason the banding will not go away with the lights, but I'll figure that out eventually. I have no fish in here yet, but this does have the candy cane and the frog spawn and a bunch of the corals and some green star polyps, along with a few crabs kind of wandering around. One of the really cool things about this tank is the 3D printed base that I made for this rock. Now here you can see it come from kind of from 2 angles because the edge of the glass is distorting it, but it really blended in super well. I mean, it almost looks like part of the rock and reef now. One of the last things to mention about this tank is how terrible the pump is for this Waterbox Peninsula Mini. It is so loud, just listen to it right here. Like I said, so loud that I have to actually turn it off at night so that my son can sleep. So I will be replacing that in the very near future. And once again, I have a lot of really cool projects coming up here. So if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you live in the next video.
Booty bomb.